For the second year in a row and the third time under Urban Meyer, Ohio State wins the Big Ten championship game, joined now by Kyle Rowland from the Blade. And Kyle, we'll get into what this might mean, but the one thing that is for certain is Dwayne Haskins once again has rewritten the Ohio State record books.
Yeah, 499 yards, new record. Can't believe he didn't get the one extra yard to get 500. Clearly cemented his status as a Heisman Trophy finalist. I don't think he'll win it, but he's definitely in the conversation. I think he'll be in New York next weekend. And, I mean, just unbelievable. I think people in the Michigan game last year, he goes in and kind of saves the day for Ohio State. They knew he was going to be good this year, but you never, ever could have imagined this. I mean, he's just rewritten the Ohio State record book and the Big Ten record book, and will go down, I think, with probably the best statistical quarterback in Ohio State history, and he's going to just separate himself, and it's going to be almost insurpassable.
Certainly a lot of talk about the coach in Ann Arbor not being able to change his ways, and we've seen Ohio State and Urban Meyer change their ways offensively to use Dwayne Haskins' talents as a drop-back passer this season. But the last couple of weeks, we've also seen Dwayne Haskins be a little bit more willing to tuck the ball and run.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he did it again tonight. It's 3 straight weeks now. He's kind of changed his game, has an added dimension that defenses have to kind of worry about. And you've seen the offense obviously play really well in all 3 games. I mean, they have like 1,500 yards of offense, more than that, I think, in the last 3 weeks. Just a remarkable performance. I think they've kind of ascended when they needed to, especially offensively. Defense had just a little hiccups in the third quarter mostly tonight. But all in all, a very impressive performance by Ohio State.
4 years ago against Wisconsin, Ohio State played perhaps the perfect game, winning 59-0, vaulting them into the very first college football playoff. This was not the perfect game tonight. No. It probably is not going to vault them into the top 4. And we saw tonight what we've seen all season long, except maybe minus the Michigan game, that defense giving up big plays. And in the third quarter, Northwestern made this game very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there really were just a handful of plays, a few moments. They had the long run early, 77-yard touchdown run, which aesthetically just doesn't look good because it's just another huge play you give up. But in the third quarter, I mean, Northwestern had, I think, 168 yards, 8 first downs, accounting for over half of their yardage, I think, for the game in that quarter. Turned a 17-point game that looked over into a 3-point game and had several possessions actually with the ball with a chance to tie or take the lead. Ohio State's defense clamped down. But that quarter ended Ohio State's chances of making the college football playoff.
In all likelihood, the Buckeyes will be Pasadena bound. And the thing about that is it's only the 5th time since 1979 Ohio State will go to the Rose Bowl, which just blows you away when you consider we are living in the golden age of Ohio State Buckeye football, just because the way college football has changed. The Rose Bowl's not the destination. It's going to be this year. And talking to the players after the game, you don't get the sense that they're going to be deflated by going to Pasadena.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely stunning. I mean, I have this conversation with people all the time about how little Ohio State's gone to the Rose Bowl recently. If the old system was in place, I mean, they would have gone like 15 times since Trustle's been coach, but obviously the BCS and the college football playoff kind of take that away. I think that they will be very excited. I mean, they're coming off a huge win over Michigan. They won the Big Ten. They're 12-1. They're not backing. It is technically a consolation, but they're in no way are they backing into it. They're going to get out there. They're going to hear all month what this game means and everything. It is a little interesting, though. I mean, a lot of them probably don't truly understand, how big the Rose Bowl is. But yeah, I think they'll definitely embrace it and, cherish the opportunity to play in the granddaddy of them all.
The other lingering story coming into this game was Urban Meyer's future. On Friday, he declined to comment after the game. Shelley Meyer did say he's been managing those headaches much better. Whether or not this is Urban Meyer's last season, whether it's Urban Meyer's second to last season, we're not going to know probably for at least a couple of days. He reportedly he will address it in the very near future. We don't know if that's going to happen or not, but certainly, as you touched on, Urban Meyer is going to impress upon these 18 to 23-year-olds how important the Rose Bowl is and how important it is to him personally.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely of the era where that was the premier game in college football. Grew up in the 70s when Ohio State was rolling, 10-year war. Them in Michigan were always going to the Rose Bowl. And I think, most Ohio State fans, it still means so much to them. Just if you live in the Midwest, period. I mean, you're always on New Year's Day, on a snowy day in Ohio, turn on the TV to watch the Rose Bowl at 5 p.m. And I think a lot of people in Ohio are going to be doing that in a month.
All right, thank you very much, Kyle Rowland from The Blade, as we wrap up our coverage from Indy with Ohio State repeating as Big Ten champions.